All right. So we'll start in our mountain pose. Feet are flat on the floor. And you can pick up your toes and lower them. Kind of wiggle the toes, pick up the toes, lower them, and kind of just feel the edges of your feet. So your foot might naturally roll to one side or the other, but kind of notice where you're rolling, where your foot is rolling to, where there's more pressure, and see if you can even it out a little bit. So lifting and lowering the toes. Then there's right angles for the legs. So the ankles are right below the knees, and then your upper body here is right over the hips. So some people, like me, kind of lean forward. I prefer to lean forward a lot. I'm going to use a little bit more effort to sit upright. And we'll close our eyes, take a soft gaze. And I'd like us to, so at the end of practice, we tend to thank ourselves for being here, blah, blah, blah. But take a moment now to thank yourself for showing up. I appreciate you showing up. And now showing up is more than physically kind of dialing into Zoom and that kind of stuff. It's being present, being, not only in the chair, but, in the practice. We all know that we can physically be present and mentally not be present. So we're going to work together trying to be mentally present in this practice. Sometimes that's the trickiest part. Now we're going to notice what we're bringing to the chair this morning. What are we bringing to the practice? What kind of feelings, either physical or emotional? And we're going to notice the breath. And notice where you notice the breath. So are you noticing it in your chest, in your belly, in your rib, like the sides of your ribs? Where are you noticing your breath? Where are you noticing the most movement? Or you notice it in your nostrils or your mouth or wherever. And then notice how your natural breath, or the breath that you show up with, notice how that kind of breath makes you feel, or how you feel during that breath. And then we're going to look at how we feel when we're breathing deeper, maybe breathing into the belly. So we'll start to slowly lengthen and deepen the breath. I think if we try to just hurry up and take the biggest breath possible, we can create all this extra anxiety and tension. So the breath, we're inhaling through the nose, and the belly will expand and the chest will rise. And then on the exhale, the chest will lower and the belly draws in. And we'll keep looking at this throughout the practice. Now on your next exhale, the belly button will draw in and we're going to round the spine. So we're bringing the chin towards the chest, the The whole spine will move towards the chair. The front of the body will be concave. And then sitting up tall, bring the shoulder blades back towards each other, arching the back, maybe bringing the chin up. And you can hold at any place throughout this. And we're just going to move with the breath, exhaling and rounding. Inhaling and arching. So for the next like 5 or so breaths, I want you to move with intention. Very deliberate, not just flinging through, moving the body around. I want you to feel it. Notice. Notice where things are in space. And then we'll come back to our mountain pose, sitting up tall. And we're going to move up onto the balls of the feet here. And we're going to circle the ankles. So we're on the balls of the feet and our ankles are circling here. And then we'll switch directions of our heels. And then we're going to roll out to the outside edges of the foot, pressing the outside edges on into the floor. And then we're going to roll to the inside edges. So you might have to take your feet a little bit wider and then open up to the outside edge. And then hopefully you have your shoes off, but you know, if they're on, I think you can still get some benefit out of this. We're going to take one foot, we're going to put it over top of the other so that your arch on one foot is sitting over the top of the other foot. So there, you can massage the bottom of one foot with the top of the other foot. So you can circle, go back and forth, see if you can get all over. If you have a tennis ball or something like that, or a rock handy, maybe a rock might be too hard, but you can roll it around. And then we'll switch feet. So we'll put the other one on top. Okay, and then we'll come back to our mountain pose. Check in, notice how your feet feel. And we're gonna sit up nice and tall. So back in our mountain pose, our seat bones are pressing down, our feet are pressing down, and our spine is very tall. Take some wrist rolls here. Bring the hand out to the side, our normal flow here. Take a stretch at the top. If you want, maybe you wait until we've done this a couple times. And then switching sides. We'll sweep both arms up. Exhale, bring the hands into prayer position at the heart. Good. Okay, back to your wrist rolls. Switching sides. We'll sweep both arms up, press the ceiling away, and exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, scoop the sternum, look forward. Exhale again and fold. Inhale the arms all the way up, come up to your mountain pose with arms lifted, and then exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Back to our wrist roll. And when you're doing this, notice for any parts where you might be clenching or holding, or clenching your jaw, or making a fist, or kind of tightening a muscle that doesn't need to be tightened. We'll sweep both arms up, push the ceiling away, and fold. Inhale, scoop the sternum, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale again and fold. Sweep the arms all the way up. And we're going to exhale and twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale and twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Okay, back to the wrist rolls. Switching sides. Excuse me. Sweep both arms up on the inhale. Push the ceiling away and exhale, fold. Inhale to a halfway lift or flat back, scooping the sternum, and then exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale and twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right knee up, give it a squeeze. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, left knee up, give it a squeeze. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Super. Last time through wrist roll. Switching sides. Sweep both arms up. Push the ceiling away and exhale and fold. Inhale to a halfway lift or flat back. Exhale again and fold. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right knee up, give it a squeeze. Knee up, chest stays lifted. Inhale, extend that right leg, foot is flexed. Lower the right knee down. You can bring your hands to your left thigh for support, keeping the spine straight. Option to hinge forward. So the right foot is flexed, hinging forward gently if you want, getting some stretch on the back of the right leg. We're gonna inhale, bring the arms up, sit up tall, draw the right leg in. Exhale, left knee comes up, you give it a squeeze. Inhale, extend the left leg, foot is flexed, and lower it down on the floor. Hands can come to the right thigh. Back is tall. And then you can hinge forward if you like. We'll sweep the arms up, draw that left heel back. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Keeping the hands together here, we're going to take the left elbow and place it to the outside of the right knee. So we're exhaling, touching down. Maybe it touches, maybe it doesn't go that far. Maybe it stays between the knees, and then inhale, come back up. We're gonna switch sides. So maybe right elbow comes between the knees. Inhale, come back up. And we're gonna do that a few times. We're gonna keep going back and forth and see if you can get maybe twisted a little bit more, but you don't have to. Go to a level that is maybe some challenge. You can feel some twisting, some compression, but not so it hurts. And move with the breath. Exhaling, you twist. Inhaling, you untwist. We'll do one more on each side. Last one. And then we'll inhale back up and exhale, place our hands on our lap here. So we're pressing our hands into our thighs, sitting up very tall. You can close your eyes and just check in for a moment. Notice again how you feel. So we're pressing our hands into our thighs, and we're going to lift the right knee. So we're lifting the right foot off the floor, but we're still pressing down with both hands on each leg. So one hand on each leg. And then lower. Switching sides, pressing down with the left hand on the left knee, and the left knee is lifted, left foot is lifted. And lower. Switching sides back to the right. And lower, left knee comes up. And lower. Let's do one more on each side. Right knee comes up. And lower the right knee. Last one, left side. And lower. Shake the wrists out. We're gonna focus a little bit here on the pelvis. So we're gonna tip the pelvis back and then tilt the pelvis forward. So tilting it back and tilting it forward. You can even put your hands on your hips if you want. Okay, and now we're gonna circle. So we're gonna place more weight in the right seat bone Then tilt the pelvis forward, more weight in the left seat bone, tilt the pelvis back. So right seat bone forward, left seat bone back. One more circle here, right seat bone forward, left seat bone back. So we're going to switch directions. So left seat bone gets weighted, tilt the pelvis forward, right seat bone gets weighted, tilt the pelvis back. Left, center forward, right, back. One more time around. Left seat bone gets weighted, pelvis tips forward, right seat bone gets weighted, and then tilt the pelvis back. All right, then we're sitting up tall again. All right, we're gonna take a brief pause here, and we're gonna do a little bit of pranayama. So it's gonna be kind of imagined alternate nostril breathing. So you don't actually have to touch your face. We're going to imagine the breath traveling up through one nostril and down through the other side. But we can make it even be more inclusive, moving from the hands. So imagine that you're inhaling breath into your right hand. It goes all the way up your right arm, through your right nostril, to your forehead. And then exhaling comes out through the left nostril, down your left arm, and out through your left fingertips. Then again, you would inhale through your left fingertips, goes all the way up your left arm, all the way up to your forehead. And then exhaling, coming down the right side, all the way out through your right fingertips, and then coming back. So imagine this path, kind of like a big wishbone. And you will inhale from where you exhaled last. So if you exhale through the left, then you inhale through the left. Then you exhale through the right and inhale through the right. So we'll do that now. So you can close your eyes or take a soft gaze, and we're going to start. If you're already started, great, keep going. We'll inhale on the right. Breath travels up to between the eyebrows or the forehead, and then exhale all the way down the left side. Inhale, left side. Traveling all the way up the arm to the middle of the forehead, and then exhale, right side. Inhale, right side. Travels all the way up the arm through the right nostril to the middle of the forehead, and then exhaling, left side. So do a couple rounds on your own. If this becomes stressful or creates more tension, just leave it alone. Just stop. Continue to breathe, but stop the pranayama. And the next time you exhale through the left side, just come back to your natural breath. You'll check in again, notice how you feel. Any changes, shifts from the beginning of class. All right, we're gonna rock to stand. So bring your hands out in front. So we're actually not really rocking, but we're coming up slowly to stand and then coming back down. Using the least amount of momentum possible, but do whatever is required. I used to love doing this part with my grandmother because she could do it in class, but on her own, she needed her walker. And it was so funny. It's like, no, grandma, you can do this. This is just like chair yoga. And then we'll come all the way up. Whew. And march it out. So I'm putting my chair to the side so it's easier to see me. You don't have to do that. Okay, standing behind the chair, we're going to move into our mountain pose, our standing mountain pose. So I'll turn to face you briefly here. So our feet are flat on the floor, and you can rock your feet around to kind of notice, like we did in the beginning of class. We want our feet flat on the floor. Then we're gonna have our feet engaged. So we're imagining we're gonna pull the mat apart. You can lift your toes and set them back down. So your arches have this feeling of being lifted. So it doesn't feel like you're smushing down your arches. The feeling of the energy coming up through the arches. The knees can be slightly bent if you have a problem with locking them out or a concern about locking them out. Soft micro bend. Pulling the feet apart. Pelvis. You have this big belt buckle you want to show off. You're lifting that up. Okay. It also takes some of the arch out of the low back. So many of us, me, ding, 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 walk with like my booty out, my belly forward. I don't know where this happened or how this started, but want to engage the core. Shoulders back, and the arms will be at our side for a moment, with the hands pointing, the palms of the hands facing forward. The chin is slightly back, so as if you were going to place the back of the head on a wall behind you. Everybody from here looks great. From what I can see, good job. We're gonna take a big inhale here and exhale. Our inhale brings our arms up, bring it all the way up overhead. And then the exhale brings the hands to the heart. So on your next inhale, if you want to take a tiny back bend at the top, you can. Inhale the arms up. A controlled tiny back bend. Maybe the hands come together, slight back bend, nothing huge. We don't want to hurt ourselves. Exhale. Well, we're going to bring the hands to the back of the chair, bending the knees slightly, and step back into your downward facing dog. Totally bend the knees on your first few down dogs, because if you're like me and you have really tight hamstrings, we don't want to force anything. So what happens when we force the straight hamstrings is kind of at the expense of our back often, or somewhere else along the line. We're going to inhale, take a gaze at the chair. Exhale, step the right foot forward. We're up on the ball of the left foot. This is kind of our crescent lunge. You can stay here, or you can start to raise one or both arms. Totally up to you. Balance is the most important. Beyond that, then the arms. We're holding a medicine ball. We're holding, or a big cake. Okay, we're holding this above our head. Don't know why we'd be doing that in this position, but we're holding this cake up and we don't want to drop it on our head. So our arms are strong, belly is engaged, so we're breathing, but we're still imagining that belt buckle lifting up. Big inhale here. Exhale, place the hands on the back of the chair. We're going to lift that right knee up, hug it in towards the chest, and step back into your downward facing dog. Bend your knees as much as needed. And wiggle the toes. Your next inhale brings the gaze to the chair. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Crescent lunge on this side, so we're on the ball of the right foot. Left knee is bent. If you're balanced and you want to put a hand up or two hands up, go for it. Again, that belt buckle is lifted. You might feel that when your belt buckle is lifted, you might feel maybe a little bit more support in the back, but you might also feel some stretch in that hip flexor on the right-hand side. Strong arms. Even if you're only holding one arm up, let it be a strong one. Big inhale here. Exhale, place the hands on the back of the chair. Lift that left knee in towards the chest as you swing back into your downward facing dog. Knees are as bent as needed. Inhale, look at the chair. Exhale, step both feet forward. Inhale, up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, lower the heels. Inhale the arms up. Tiny back bend if you want. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart into your mountain pose so that belt buckle comes up again. The feet are pulling the mat in half, or let's see, had a mat there. Okay, we'll go through it one more time, maybe add a little bit more twist here. So inhale the arms up. Tiny back bend if you want. Exhale, place the hands on the back of the chair. Step back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, look at the back of the chair. Exhale, step that right knee forward, or right foot forward. Your knee can come too. Nothing wrong with that. Left hand goes on the chair, right hand comes up towards the ceiling, taking a twist. Exhale, untwist. Step that right foot back to meet the left. Inhale, look at the chair. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Right hand is planted, left hand comes up towards the ceiling for the twist. Untwist. Step that left foot back to meet the right. Take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, look at the chair. Exhale, bend the knees and straighten. So we're breathing here, bend the knees and straighten. We're going to bend the knees and we're going to step up to the back of our chair. Inhale up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, lower the heels. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart, back into our mountain pose. Sweet. Okay, I'm going to turn to face you. I have my chair on my right hand side. I'm going to lift the right knee. So you can come up onto the ball of the right foot, hold onto the chair on the right side, or you can lift all the way. We're gonna lift, maybe you extend. So maybe your foot is just out in front, like that. Whatever works for you. Balance, again, is the most important thing. Your safety is way more important than lifting your leg in the air. Bring it forward or up, or try to straighten. And then lower it back down. We'll do this 2 more times. So pick your variation, whatever that might be, and lower. And last one, lift, whatever your variation, and lower, and then march it out. Okay, we're going to take a twist here. So pick your variation. If your foot is in front or up on the ball of the foot or extended or knee up, whatever your variation is. And we're gonna start to twist to the right. You can release the chair if that's accessible to you today. Take a couple breaths here. And lower down. And march it out. We're gonna switch sides. So I have a little challenge to you. My niece and I were watching the chickens the other day, and we noticed one chicken was just like hanging out, doing whatever chickens do, but on one leg. And my niece was like, "Oh my gosh, you're standing there a long time on one leg." So maybe do a little video where you practice balance somewhere, anywhere. Share it with me, wherever you want to share it. And maybe you could be brushing your teeth. You could do you know, tree pose, brush your teeth, whatever, do a dish, clean a dish. Okay, so on this side, we're gonna do a couple of leg lifts, whatever variation you want. So if your leg is out straight, if the knee is bent, if the foot is down, whatever kind of safe balance variation that you want. You can let go of the chair, you can hold the chair. And then lower it down, we'll march it out. Now we'll add the twist on this side. So any variation that you want, whatever is sustainable, and we're gonna twist to the left. Maybe you have your balance and you wanna release the chair, that's an option too. We're twisting to the left. The moon must be in a better spot now because I feel more balanced. Till I say something, then I jinx it. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, lower it down, march it out. So it's a weightlifting exercise for your standing leg. Balance is a practice. Okay, moving back into our mountain pose. The chair can be wherever you want for balance. We're gonna do our tree pose like we usually do. So I'm gonna go back to my right foot because that's what I started. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna go back to my left foot because that's the one I started on. And I'm gonna take whatever tree variation, leg variation. You can hold your hands in whatever kind of mudra that you like. If you want to use the chair for balance, go ahead. We got to think of grounding down through the standing foot and kind of growing out with everything else. So the legs are grounding and kind of pressing together. The upper body is growing up and out like limbs on a tree. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, lower down. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Take your variation, whatever that may be. Any mudra of your choice. So we're not resting on our bones, we're growing up and out of them. Take a big inhale and then lower down. So what I mean about resting on the bones, okay, so I'm coming up towards the camera here a little bit. So I am resting in my bones. There's no physical activity here whatsoever. But then if I'm growing up out of them, so it's this to this. I don't know if you can see the little changes. So you're using your muscles to kind of like get in between the bones almost, or like instead of just resting everything down and being squishy, we're elongating everything. Hopefully that makes sense. But so in tree pose, you can kind of just flop into it, or you can grow up out. So I think that one is the most kind of striking. So here I am, my hip is kind of out to the side, growing and pushing down and growing out of that pose is more like this. So you're at the doctor's office, you want to squeak out half an inch on your height when they're measuring you. That's how you do it. Okay. We're going to come around, bring the chair behind us again. We're going to do our gratitude. I have a friend that says that she actually, by holding her posture better, when she went back to the doctor, she was measured and she was actually taller. than what she has been, I think by like 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so our pose here, our feet are either together, hip width, goddess. Anywhere you are, your knees and your toes are pointed in the same direction. So our knees aren't in and our feet are out. I don't know why you do that, it's not comfortable. But knees and toes pointing in the same direction. Okay, taking whatever variation you want. You can come as deep as you want. So it looks like I'm sitting, but I'm not. So, and then instead of being like leaning way over, again, your pelvis is engaged. And again, whatever kind of mudra that you want. So mudras are super cool. I'd like to learn a little bit more about them. I think of it more along the lines of a balancing type, you know, your brain, the hand-eye coordination thing. But then there's also, if you want to think about acupressure or pressure points in the hand that equal other things, I think that's really interesting. Take a couple breaths here. Think of something that you're grateful for or someone. Visualize it as best as you can with as much detail as possible. Maybe come a little lower. Big inhale. And then make sure your chair is there. Have a seat. Come all the way down. Whew. So we're going to pick up the heels and drop them a few times. Bone density. This is supposed to help with bone density. Strength training. Impact, like light impact stuff. So you don't want no impact. So if you're just swimming all the time, your bones don't get the micro fractures that they need to become strong. And some people, you know, obviously get to a point where they can't do that, but want to have some impact stuff, going for a walk, lifting some weights. That's kind of gentle stuff. So back to our mountain pose. We sit up nice and tall. Check in again. Notice what you have. And we're going to extend the left leg and point and flex. Point and flex the foot. Keeping our upper body tall. Keeping our upper body from leaning back, we're also working our core. Core is kind of one of those things where you can easily start to get lazy and find shortcuts, slouching and whatever else. So we're gonna take the bottom of the foot towards the midline and away. Staying up as tall as possible, and it's a constant reminder to sit up, at least for me. Bring the foot out and back in, out, and back in. And then we're gonna bring it out as far as we can and let that heel come down. Sit up tall again. Now you can angle the foot down, and that's gonna create more of a stretch here on the inner thigh. We'll take just a couple breaths here. We'll bring that left leg back. We'll bring the knee up and we'll rock the baby. Rock that baby left knee. Maybe take it on an angle so you get the foot and knee. And then bring the left ankle over the right knee and sit up tall. You can also be ankle to ankle or put your left ankle on a prop. Option to hinge forward if that works for you. We'll cross at the knee or ankle, your choice, and we're hugging everything in. So if we're crossed at the knee, you know, your left foot wants to kick out to the left, squeeze it in if you can. Okay, and then we'll twist to the right. You can do it without holding on to anything. Like I use my hands on my core, so I'm not actually pulling myself around. Squeezing the feet in towards each other or the knees in towards each other. Untwist and twist to the left. Legs stay exactly the same. And untwist. Uncross the legs. And now we'll point and flex the right foot. Bottom of the foot towards the midline and away. Then we'll start to bring the, and then we'll bring it out, set the heel down. You can angle the right foot down and sit up tall. Getting a gentle stretch maybe on the inner thigh. Taking a couple breaths here. We'll bring that right knee back in and up and rock the baby. Angle the foot and leg here if you want. And rock it like this. And then you can place the right ankle over the left knee or ankle to ankle or somewhere in between. And if you're not symmetrical, nobody is, don't worry about it. Do what feels like the same intensity on both sides. You can la 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 la. Anyway, you can lean forward slightly if you want. Add some extra compression and intensity into the hip here if that works. Taking just another breath here. We'll sit up tall. Cross at the knee or ankle. And again, if your foot's kicking out to the side, squeeze it back in and we'll twist to the right. Back to center, twist to the left. And then untwist, uncross the legs. And I'm going to move just a little bit closer. Do some stuff with the hands. Okay, take the fingers pointed down and then pull the fingers back towards you gently. Reach under for the thumb. And then go through each finger. Shake it out. Switch sides. I'm always surprised every class at how tight all this feels. The little break in the weather, it seems like a little bit humid still, but it's not as oppressively hot. And it's funny, all the birds are kind of milling around a little bit more mellow. But instead of like hiding under the porch because it's so hot, they're just kind of like laying around randomly. Some shoulder rolls, and we'll tap. So the pinky finger side of the hand, we'll tap. And the heels of the hands. Bottoms of the thumbs. Take some shoulder rolls. I don't know, holding my shoulders up too high. So relax your shoulders down, and we're gonna punch into the palm. I start punching and making noise in here, and all the chickens are like, what's she doing? And then switch. The backs of the hands. Switch. Interlace. Hold and switch. Go again. If it feels weird, you're doing it right. And then the thumb and forefinger webbing. And switch. And then we will like rub and twist the skin here. So you can circle the joints. Each knuckle can kind of encase the finger or thumb, and then kind of then each finger after that. Like you're trying to butter up your finger to get a ring off. Not that I've ever had to do that. I think I stopped wearing my wedding ring, oh gosh, months and months and months ago, just because I had to buy a new one because I wear a silicone ring. My other one was getting too loose, and I was like, every time my hands would get wet, I'd lose it. It would fling off, and we'd find it in the barn, and we'd find it all over the place. So I bought another one, but that one's like really rigid silicone. We'll switch hands, and it's not as comfortable. So I stopped wearing it. And my husband only just noticed like 2 weeks ago. he's like, hey, where's your wedding ring? I'm like, oh, I haven't been wearing it. Oh, sure. Where am I going that I'm like getting propositioned by men here with my naked ring finger? And I didn't realize actually how many people in my family don't wear their wedding rings. The men in my family, a lot of them are mechanics, and so the wedding rings are actually dangerous, although they could wear a silicone ring and be fine. And then my Aunt Eileen, I don't know what she did with hers. It was broken or something. My uncle was in, I think he said he was in the military. He was working on a tank, and he had his finger got caught on a bolt. His ring got caught on a bolt and like was hanging from it, and it broke. Thank God, his finger, or the ring, not his finger. But then he said it's just way too dangerous to wear a ring. And it's just a symbol, right? It's not nothing more than that. It's the idea of so the saying that I've heard that is like locks only keep honest people out. And I think of like the kind of the similarity with rings. So massage the hand. And we'll place our hands on a body part or body parts that is challenging to us, wherever that may be. We're going to send some love. We're going to send awareness, energy, what have you, whatever you call it. Even if it's just our focus, just a little bit of focus. You can pair that with some appreciation or acceptance. And then you can slowly remove the hands. We'll place our hands on our hearts. And I want you to notice what you have in the chair right now. Any shifts or changes. You know, we talk about what are we bringing to the mat? What are we bringing to our chair? But what are we going to bring to the rest of the world today? What can you do? It might be what you don't do. It might be, not engaging or letting something go. And we'll thank ourselves for being here and practicing together, maybe even being present during the practice. May we all feel loved, grateful, and connected. And may we all have the strength and courage to overcome any obstacles before us. From my heart to your heart, peace and namaste.